Tesla Giga Berlin may change German law with two specific ideas. Here is how. Brandenburg Minister of Economic Affairs Jörg Steinbach wants Tesla turbo, kind of, for offices because investors are annoyed that Giga Berlin's approval procedures and approval procedures for industrial settlements can take months or years. Welcome back, dear friends. This is Armen Harayan from TorqueNews.com. Please subscribe to our channel if you're here first time and join our community for daily Tesla, Giga Berlin, electric vehicle news, and give us thumbs up. Please tweet it out if you would like to help. Investors are annoyed that approval procedures for industrial settlements can take years. The Brandenburg Minister of Economic Affairs would therefore like to streamline the licensing law. However, his two proposals, are controversial. RBB24 of Brandenburg reports that the German bureaucracy is notorious, as is now known even in California, far away by Tesla. The US electric car group Tesla has long been planning to manufacture cars made in Germany and is new plant Giga Berlin in Grünheide, but the start of production in July 2024, originally planned by company boss Elon Musk, is long history, and we're eyeing for Giga Berlin's production start at the end of this year, which is still possible, but you never know how things will go, right? So the fact that it should be so far at the end of the year at the earliest is also due to the lengthy approval process. Nuisance for Elon Musk, after all. The visionary entrepreneur is not exactly known for his patience. Now, third round of public participation for Tesla Giga Berlin's approval is now underway. Like I said, this is the third round. RBB says the process is currently stalled because the deadline for objections to the construction plans runs until mid-August. So you have to be patient on that. It is already the third round for citizen participation because Tesla Giga Berlin once again extensively changed its construction plans or plans in general, adding the battery factory. And with every such change you make in the architectural plan, the official mills start their work all over again and you go through the lengthy approval process. That pulls on the nerves of investors and now also those of the Brandenburg state government. Economics Minister Jörg Steinbach, who has been a long supporter of Tesla and its Giga Berlin factory, wants to learn from this experience. He says, as far as the approval process is concerned, a process like the one we are going through with Tesla now to be evaluated at the end of the entire time, he said. That means they want to evaluate how Tesla's process was and learn from that. He says what went well at that point and what didn't, and what are the resulting needs for change. In my personal opinion, this is a very healthy approach. You learn from a process and see what you can improve. Steinbach now wants to have less bureaucracy, which is welcome, and fewer courts. Look how many courts we had with Tesla Giga Berlin versus environmentalists. Steinbach formulates two very specific ideas with which he wants to save time in future projects. This is good news for all other companies that want to come and invest in Brandenburg. Here's what those two ideas is. First, the authorities around take careful look at the investors' plan change. If it turns out that you are making a process change that leads to less environmental impact, then the question is whether you have to start all the individual steps all over again or whether you can sensibly integrate this into an ongoing process. That would mean that companies that opt for less environmentally harmful construction or production processes would not have to reset their ongoing approval procedures to zero. I think a great acceleration is conceivable at this point, said Steinbach. His second proposal contains fewer legal hurdles. Again, a welcome proposal for many companies, but you have to be keeping a balance. I think that's very important. So for large investors like Tesla and companies like Giga Berlin, negotiations before administrative courts are a difficult to predict time factor. In 2020, for example, environmental associations were able to legally stop the clearing work in Grünheide, the forest, remember, at least temporarily. Even if the later decision was made in favor of Tesla, the company lost valuable time as a result of the process. And only a few days ago, a second procedure ended with the Green League and the Nature Conservation Association NABU failed with their urgent application against early partial approvals of Tesla Giga Berlin before the Berlin Brandenburg Higher Administrative Court. Again, Tesla won these cases, but Tesla lost valuable time, and it pulls on the nerves of investors. To ensure that such lengthy court decisions do not completely slow down major projects, Steinbach brings a review of the number of legal instances into play. The idea to the notifications of the competent licensing authority, in this case the State Environmental Agency, could only be checked by a court in the future. Instead of going to the administrative court first, plaintiffs would then have to go directly to the higher administrative court. One station of the legal process would be eliminated. I'm definitely a fan of our constitutional state. And that's why I'm definitely a fan of the four eyes principle, says Steinbach. But we don't need three instances. We don't need a six eyes principles. In other words, he wants to cut bureaucracy to a reasonable level to give companies more time and more leverage, kind of. Now, Giga Berlin's critics and plaintiffs insist on legal certainty. Critics and those who have already gone to court against the prior approval for Giga Berlin for the construction site in Grünheide do not believe in these plans. RBB says, as a lawyer, Thorsten Deppner represents the environmental associations that recently failed with their urgent application against Tesla's premature production tests. He is more familiar with demands such as Steinbach expresses them from conservative politicians. Here's a quote. This miserable acceleration legislation and the discussion about the fact that everything takes too long here in Germany and that it is supposedly always the fault of the environmental associations with their objections and complaints, that is old hat that cannot be empirically proven, says Deppner. Well, to be honest, friends, I don't mean to kind of blame everything on environmental associations. I'm sure they have their cases, I'm sure they have their own concerns, and that those need to be respected. After all, with electric car companies like Tesla, we're all after the environment. The environmental lawyer sees much more of a locational advantage in the supposedly cumbersome approval process in Germany. Here's what he says. Among other things, we are known for the fact that we have very good and technically excellent approval procedures with appropriate judicial reviews. And if you have a definitive decision here, then you can rely on it. If you start to undermine the further, then it will only cause a loss of legal certainty, he says. That can't actually be in the interests of an economics minister, the lawyer continued. Experts see responsibility in the European Union. They think European Union has responsibility in these cases and may become like a intermediary or something. So let's see what the responsibility may be, what they think it is. In principle, the legally prescribed procedures can be reformed. Many experts even advocate a faster, simpler permit law. Ludger Gehling, professor of regional planning at the Brandenburg Technical University, BTU, Cottbus, admits the following. He says, it is conceivable to recognize the planning law of the authorization law. Politicians have created the rules, and of course, they can change them in ours with majority democracy. But Such changes in the law should not be easy to implement. Much can only be touched on a European level, Gelin continues. For example, when it comes to the obligation to respect the environment or the protection of Europe-wide protected rare species and habitats or water protections, there are EU directives everywhere that everyone agrees to countries. Well, countries or the EU have known. Time factor could scare off the investors. If the approval process is very long, that could not be in favor of investors. Investors will not basically favor that. This is why Steinbach has good arguments for reducing bureaucracy when it comes to the approval of Tesla Giga Berlin factory or similar settlements. If ambitious, large-scale projects like Tesla Gigafactory in Grünheide kept stalling, investors could think twice about choosing Germany and Brandenburg as the new locations. By the way, do you guys know where is the fastest approval processes in the entire European continent? When investors inquire with us, the topics of approval procedures and planning time play a very decisive role, warns Steinbach. Therefore, they will think twice before choosing Germany next time. Here's what he says. Especially when an area still has to be converted into a commercial area through a development plan process, then these are often processes that are significantly longer than a year. Remember, Tesla had to convert the forest into a Giga Berlin factory. Steinbach says, and these are actually timelines where investors say at the point as long as possible, we don't wait to start our own activities. Steinbach says that he has already seen such cases in his 3-year term in office. Well, friends, let me know what your thoughts are about Steinbach's two suggestions and proposals to improve and make the approval process for companies like Tesla Giga Berlin faster, making Germany more attractive place for improvement, or do you think what the law is currently is good enough? In the meantime, this is Armen Harayan reporting for TorqueNews.com. Please subscribe to our channel for daily Tesla news. Ring the bell so you don't miss my coverage, and also give us thumbs up, please, if you like this report, found it informative, and tweet it out. We would appreciate it, or in social media in general. Have a great day, everyone. God bless you, and I'll see you soon in our next report.